Hello, guys. Uh, I just wanted to retouch on some things. I put out a video about a week ago titled How Not to Get Hustled. Now, I know there's not many pool players out there left that plays for money, especially, big money. Personally, I don't really play for big money anymore either. It used to be fairly common to play, $2,000 sets, $5,000 sets, but I've gotten older, and I've always been fortunate enough to have a really well-paying job. I've worked in manufacturing mainly my whole life. Last, I don't know, 8 or 10 years, I've been in maintenance, so I make fairly decent money. So I was always able to. Didn't really hurt me that bad. If I lost, a big chunk of money, I could just go work overtime for the next couple of weeks, and within a month I'd be right back to where I was. But anyways, I'm too old to be doing that shit anymore, so I don't like doing that. I do still like playing for a little bit, just to make the game exciting. I'm talking $50 sets, $5 a game, stuff like that, $10 a game, just to make it exciting, fun, get the old heart going. And but yeah, I was just gonna give you guys a few tips. Now, if you are gonna be playing for big money and you're planning on playing for big money, you should definitely not go to the pool room of the guy you're planning on playing. Don't go to his home court to where he has an advantage. For one, he's going to know the tables. He's going to know how everything plays. He's going to know the people. You may even have to worry about somebody putting something in your drinks, in your food. I mean, when I was real serious about gambling, I'd take my own drinks, my own food. I'd talk to the pool room owners first to make sure it was okay, because you'd look like a douche carrying a cooler into a pool room with your own stuff. But, that's what was necessary during those times, because people will do anything for money. They really will. And some of the guys I've played are not, don't have any morals at all. They do anything to beat you, cheat you, move balls when you ain't looking. I've seen it all. And but yeah, you don't want to go to a guy's home pool room. Go somewhere neutral, because he's probably not going to come to your pool room either. So find somewhere in the middle, somewhere that has good tables. Meet there and play somewhere where it's hopefully neutral. And with as much information as there is today, if the person you're playing is, extremely good or whatever, as long as you've got the right name, you're more than likely going to be able to get on the internet and look them up and find out a little something about them. It ain't like it used to be, where you can travel around and change your name, and now everybody's got a camera and everybody's paying attention and knows who's who, and it wasn't like that, not just 15 years ago. It was not like that. You could go around and people didn't know who you were. But yeah, you wanna play on in a neutral pool room. That way nobody has home court advantage. Now, if you can get them to play in the place you're used to playing, that's the thing to do. Get them to come to you. That way, you'll have a little bit of an advantage. But most of the time, a serious money player won't do that. They might, but I doubt it. And you got to be careful. You got to look into who you're playing. Ask around. There's plenty of information nowadays. Like I said, don't go to their pool room. Don't go around their people. If they come to the pool room with a big group of people, be careful, because they might not be planning on paying if they lose. Pay attention to the crowd of people they're with, who they're talking to. You can learn a lot by watching people, and you can tell too when, even if you're not planning on, if it's just a surprise or you run into somebody and they want to play, you can tell by the way they hold their stick, by the way their stance is, if they can play decent or not. You can't tell how good they are, but you can tell if they're pulling your leg by missing easy shots. And, if they've got perfect form and they go down on the ball the same every time, and, they've got a good stroke and they're missing easy shots, or you should know they're trying to play something funky on you. They're trying to hoodoo you. So best thing you could do is somebody's doing that, just play right along with them, keep right on beating them, and when they want to change the game, don't let them. Don't tell them, so, happy right where it's at, let's keep it where it's at, and and hopefully they'll get frustrated and they'll either show you who they are, they'll get tired of losing and show you who they are, or they'll get frustrated and keep playing and probably won't win much. Like I said, they're not going to be willing to throw away too much. They'll just try to lose enough to get you interested in playing. They'll lose a couple $100 to you, and then they want to, after that they want to play a $500 set or $1,000 set, and then magically, they can run racks. They don't miss balls anymore, but those days are about over, like with camera phones, that's knocked that in the head. And I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, I don't think you should cut gambling completely out of pool. I mean, I just think it should be done respectfully, gentlemanly, you have some manners, have some self-respect, be honest. If you call a foul the other player don't see, I give it to them. Because I know if I don't, karma's going to hit me 3 times harder 5 minutes later. And, there's little tips and tricks to spotting players, how they, people that play really well or people that's trying to set the hook on you. There's different ways to tell, but generally if they're holding the stick really well, they got a really good bridge, they got a really good stroke, they're going down on the ball, and they're lining up the shots the right way, and you can tell that they're just punching them too hard or shooting too easy. I mean, you can spot that stuff if you play pool. Just pay attention to the players, pay attention to yourself, pay attention to what kind of, how you're playing that day. If you're not, you're not in stroke, you're not having a good time, not playing well, you may be better off to, just call it quits before you do end up stuck for several $100s and feeling like you got to play to get it back. You don't have to do that. If the first couple sets, if things ain't going your way and you're not shooting well and you're playing with somebody that's an equal player or possibly even better, just quit. I mean, go reset, get a bite to eat. Whatever you do, get away from the table for an hour or two, go clear your mind, don't think about it, do something, and then come back and, tomorrow or even later that day. I mean, it's like in the old Hustler movie, Minnesota Fats, which is really New York Fats. He beats, I think it's Fast Eddie, is who they was playing. Pretty sure Tim Newman was playing, but that was Fats' trick. He kept him in the pool room all night, wore him out, and then Fats goes to the back or upstairs or wherever it was and takes a shower, eats breakfast, smokes a cigarette, goes through a couple hour little routine while Fast Eddie's downstairs, still tired, still, mentally in the fog and aggravated and mad and still in the heat of battle and just biting at the, biding in time till he comes back to play some more. You know, you can't do no good like that. Once, you know, if you get dragged into an endurance match, you know, you got to know your limits. And you got to be able to spot a good time to quit. And I can tell you, a good time to quit is if you get close to even, or you break even, or, you know, maybe even winning a little bit. Now, I wouldn't suggest just up and quitting on somebody, but if I'm winning and I get to the point where you know, I'm older now and have heart problems, if I'm exhausted and, you know, I'm going to tell them, hey, look, man, I know I got you hooked for some money, but, you know, I can't play, you know, 18, 24 hours in a row anymore. I'd be more than happy to give you a chance to win it back. I just, you know, I can't play no more today. You know, we'll be glad to play some more tomorrow or whenever I got time. And that would be what I would do. But yeah, there's lots of little tips and tricks to noticing hustlers and you know, people that plays better than you that's trying to get you to gamble in the pool rooms. Nowadays, it's mostly leagues and tournaments, and not many people even gamble anymore. But this is, you know, maybe for the few that do like to gamble. Just give you some little tips and tricks on how to maybe make the game even, or even put it in your favor a little bit. But if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. I'm just learning this YouTube stuff, trying to learn how to film and edit and do all that stuff. Like I said, I've been a manufacturing technician my whole life. I'm not wasn't a tablet baby, born in '84. You know, no cell phones, no tablets, no computers. But I'm doing my best with technology and trying to create some, you know, get this page going. And I got a lot of knowledge about a lot of different subjects I'd like to share with you all. Pool being, you know, one of my big passions. So I do have a video coming up as soon as my wife has time. You know, as soon as we're both off work and she can film it for me. I'm going to actually go to the pool hall and take the Predator Revo and the J Flowers SMO and do a visual demonstration. So maybe you can get a little bit of an idea of, you know, how they play, you know, how they perform, what they're good for. But what I can tell you right now is with these low deflection sticks, and especially, you know, them being a black shaft and all that, if you're just learning the game, I think they're wonderful. I think that's what you should start out with, and that's what you should stick with, because you're going to be more consistent. You're going to do all that. You know, you're going to do better. You're going to learn faster. I like wood shaft personally. I do like a low deflection wood shaft, but I learned how to play with a whippy Mucci, Meucci, however you want to say it. And at one time, you know, I could run 7-8 racks of 9-ball with the Mucci on a 9-foot table. You know, they wouldn't know diamonds then. They were Brunswicks and Ohausens, probably 4.5, 5-inch pockets. You know, it wasn't like playing on a diamond. I think the best I've ever done on a diamond, as far as running racks, I think I've broken run 6 or 7 racks on a 9-foot diamond, about the best I ever did. No, that ain't, you know, nowhere near as many games as I've won in a row. Now, I got on a hot streak one night, and between making the 9-ball on the break and running racks, I think I held the table. You know, it was a ring game as well with about 7 people, but I held the table for 13 or 14 games in a row. Broke and run out 2 or 3 times in a row. Then I got lucky, made the 9-ball. I was making the 9-ball on the break every other break. It was in a pool room with a rack boy. Everybody that was in the game took a turn racking the balls, and I don't know what it was. every other break I was making the 9. I think at one time I made it 2 or 3 times in a row. I know there towards the end, I'd won 27 or 28 games within the span of about 7 or 8 minutes. And everybody in there got mad. They was trying to start fights with the rack boys and bitching to the pool room owner about his tables, and it was just a fluke. It was just my lucky day. You know, I'll never forget it. I won about $1,500 in about 25 minutes. You know, it's probably the best I've ever done. It ain't the most I've ever won, of course, but in that short of a period of time, that's definitely the most I've ever won. And I had a whole lot of fun doing it, watching that 9 roll in every other time. But like I said, if y'all like this content, please like and subscribe. Me and Sam Squatch is going to be using this channel. She'll be posting her own content. I'll post my own content, and then we'll also post content together. And hopefully things go well, and we get took off. Maybe we can do individual channels or whatever. But right now, like I said, I'm just doing my best. And please like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. And everybody, I hope you have a good day. Thank you.